New? Are you here just to hear about the retargeting new video that's coming out?
Oh yeah, that's today. No, I was here just for you guys to
That's
see
for the
how you're
mastermind.
doing. Say hi.
Well, it's exciting. I got a special treat for everybody. Steve filmed a video. He can't actually be here, but he did film a video on the latest retargeting feature. And we've been testing it. We've got some results. I think, Leon, I think you're here, buddy. I think we're going to be using something in your account too. So yeah, get excited, guys. I'm so pumped. I've never seen Steve so excited, and to see Steve excited, that's a whole nother level. So get excited because if Steve's excited, which is hard to get him riled up, he's got something special for you. All right, Leon, what's up? Oh, driving, being safe. There you
Yeah, I
go.
had to go get my coffee. Yeah, Steven sent me some stuff yesterday. We're laughing because nothing's ever normal with my account. So we're kind of discovering a few things, and there's a couple things that I had kind of brought up that he's going to incorporate to make the changes easier for some of the retargeting for folks. So um, we're starting to get results already starting to show.
Yeah, I mean, I think you spent like $2, so if you can get a couple results and with $2 spent, I think that's pretty awesome. So yeah, for those of you that have massive databases, I'm looking at you, Wendy. I think you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be huge. Even if you don't like the power behind this is you're gonna be able to import in all your leads and specifically by subjects or actual lead sources. So there's going to be a lot of unique opportunities here for you outside of just the leads you've generated with StreetText. You know, I'm just coming off a meeting with Real Closers and Roberto where we talked about retargeting and when to retarget it and why it's important. It's not just this shiny bell and whistle that everybody should be jumping on board with. There is something to be said about developing that relationship first, or at the very least the brand awareness to really make this powerful. And so, which is why those of you that spent time making your automations unique, those of you that spent time building bomb videos, those of you that spent time with that, that nurture, that process that you customized, that you made your own with your email signature, with all that stuff. The reason why we highlighted that so much in the beginning is because we knew there would be a time where all that made a difference. And some of you already experienced the difference, but now because you laid the foundation, because you built that up brick by brick, now these people already know and like you, and that trust has been established, and you've created those authentic connections. Now retargeting becomes so powerful. And the power behind that is, I'm not going to give it all away because Steve's video will probably clarify a lot of this stuff, will be that you'll be able to see that lead coming back in and you'll be like, whoa, it's on this automation, it's on this automation, it's on my HomeBot automation, and now it's on this new automation with retargeting. And you can start seeing the power of all these touch points that no one else has except for you. Okay? So that's the exciting part. So while we get everybody on here, you know what? I think before I just launch into that video that I wanted to share, I want to start with wins. I want to start with shares. So if anybody has some wins or shares or anything that's really exciting that's happening in their life, this is the time. Unmute yourself and share. Oh, the awkward silence. I'll start looking at people and calling them out one by one. Don't make me do it. And by the way, if you are here, we'd love to see your face. Part of this mastermind experience that's so unique is that we all get to be on camera together, right? How much of this, like I'm talking about the subject of retargeting. Well, where is your know, like, and trust model built? Where is rapport built? Where is body language and tonality experienced in video? Otherwise, what's going to make you different? What's going to make you recognizable to any of your leads, right? Because anybody can send an email or text or, what makes you any different? So just remember that. You're going to have to get in front of the camera whether you're not like it or not, or you're going to go extinct.
I'll
Just
give you a win. I'll give you a win. I was laughing because I don't do a lot of buyer deals. I just get kind of tired of writing up 20 something rejections to get one positive. And I don't say that in a negative way. I say it in a real way. I always like to put my time where it's best spent. So I had a buyer, I showed a house the other day, and they were crying, you know, I hate to say crying, but about the rates. And I said, you know, let me give it to you this way. I said, you want to wait another year? He said, you wait till next year and rates come down. So let me give you a different spin on this. I'm glad you have $100,000 to spend on a house. And they go, well, what do you mean 100,000? I said, just look at it like this. I said, in the time it takes you to get to next year, this house will appreciate 10%, but it just went up $60,000. I said, if you're renting for $2,000, I said, it's another 24,000. So that's 84,000 you've already dropped. I said, by the time you get in the house, find it, write it up. I said, yeah, several more months go by. I said, you spent almost $100,000 more dollars for the same house. I said, so now let's do the math. If you turn on and look at the difference in payment at 5.25 or 5 1/8, whatever, versus the 3.5 we started at, I go, that's much cheaper to just suck up the difference for now, hit Starbucks once or twice less a week. And then next year, if rates actually drop, go ahead and refi. And they just kind of laughed about it, thought about it, signed off on it, got my offer accepted last night. So, you know, I don't do a lot of buyers, but, you know, when you're out there as a buyer agent getting beat up, sometimes the best thing to do is common sense math. And if you need to talk to your lender or someone else, put something together to present it that way, because I tell them now you have more opportunity because there's a whole lot of other buyers out here that are thinking that same way that are going to lose out on the house that you actually get. So Brilliant. It worked. Like I said, there's only 2 offers on the house. Mine was accepted. So that's my win.
Brilliant. I mean, and this perspective, that's opportunity cost, is all about how you present that information.
Marcus, this is Adrian.
Yes.
I'm going to be posting on Facebook. I think it's 2 or 3 images that CoreLogic published, and they're heat maps, and it indicates all over the country which areas have increased in price and which areas at this stage are not looking for a correction. And I used it because my area, even though the slight increase is just about 3%, 3.8%, we're not looking at a correction in the immediate future. So I'll put that into the Facebook page, so each one of you, depending on where you are, you can click on your area and find out, you know, what's going to happen in the future, at least what they think is going to happen in the future.
Oh, Adrian, that's awesome. That's going to be so helpful to look at. Thank you so much. Jeff.
Hey, Marcus, how are you doing? Hey, just to piggyback on Leon, who brings up a great point, we've pivoted a lot of our touches to that of education. We always try to provide value to our clients. And we've changed a lot in terms of our delivery in the last month or so, because our market here in Orange County is changing drastically. And consumers typically are slow to figure it out. So we found it really useful, and it's actually generated a couple of leads, just letting them know what's going on with the marketplace, how the rise in interest rates is affecting them, and what's going on with values these days. Because again, they're reading the papers, they're all over the place. Providing them with this kind of information is, again, another touch of value that we found to be very useful for them.
I love that, Jeff. And I think even in that, as you say that, where I'm thinking in my mind, that would be presenting an incredible opportunity for retargeting campaigns specifically that are addressing this relevant subject. It's so important to be in tune with the times, to be ahead of the times, to be the trendsetter with the news that you're delivering, so they don't have to go figure it out when it's too late. They're figuring it out today. So that's where I would foresee something really awesome as the opportunity, as these leads that are like trying to figure out if they could sell right now, whether it's a good time to buy right now. That would be helpful information to send to your leads as a retargeting campaign. How many of you would agree with me?
Also, to add to Jeff's comment, there's a lot of sensationalism in the media. So it gives you an opportunity to educate your client and say, okay, I know that you've heard blah, blah, blah. Let me just lay it out for you.
I love that. Linnea, you said you got a monthly market minute ready to go out. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, it's just a quick, I do them once a month. It's just called a monthly market minute. It's like a minute or a minute and a half of like 2 or 3 bullet points about the market. And then I sent it out through my database, sent it out to Troy's comment, sorry. Media is never sensational. Just saw that pop up. Just send that out through my database, and then I'll probably be using that as a retargeting as well. So it's like Jeff said, it's just all about like, listen, this is what's happening. This is what you're seeing. This is why, and this is what's happening. And this is what it means. Like, it's just a super quick, like 90-second video. And one of them is 59 seconds because I'm going to put it on TikTok.
So good. And so much of this comes down to framing the mindset, right? And helping people understand, you know, just like Leon did in the beginning, that in itself is just that educational piece, that coming from that experience of service and contributing to their life. So saying, this is not about selling right now. This is about me serving you with the best information out there and giving you information that you can use today to make that best decision for you and your family. I love it. Keep on sharing, guys, or are you all excited just to see this retargeting video? Yeah?
Let's go to the video.
Let's go to the video. Okay, let's do it.
Roll the video, Marcus.
I know what. That's why you're here, Campbell. Let's go. Okay, let me find it here. I opened up the video. All right, I'm gonna share sound. Ooh, I have a little option, optimize for video clip. I can try that. Okay, let's see what happens. Okay, let me open this up for you guys. Let's see what Steve has for us. We'll discuss it at the end to see what our thoughts are and what questions we have, and save those questions because Steve's going to want to actually take that for feedback as you, and John's here as well, so we can share as we go. Here we go.
Hi, everyone. I really am sorry I'm not live with you guys here today, but Marcus said that he would show this, and I'm really excited to just share some of the early results that we're getting with our retargeting. And so what you can see here on the left, this is one of our retargeting ads. It is a PDF guide that your leads get to download. We have so many PDF guides coming. It's probably in the neighborhood of about 35 to 40 of them. They are designed for sellers. They're designed for buyers. We have some that are designed for both. And I'm not going to go into great detail into some of the setup on the retargeting right now, but this is early access to some of our beta users. Now, I know many of you are looking to be beta users. Right now, the beta is closed, but it's closed because we're getting very, very close to releasing the first version. And I'm very excited. I want to share a couple results with you. So when you take a look at this, you can ignore the cost per lead. This is actually to do with the fact that we are tracking, we're not tracking resubmissions, we're only tracking new leads in our system. So what's interesting about this ad is you can see a couple of things I want to point out. One is that this ad is set to spend $2 a day. What's so powerful about these ads is that you can literally set just $1, 25 or 30 a day. I think that's the minimum Facebook has, somewhere around that a day. And you can see here, we have reached 146 people. And I'm actually going to show how big this audience was in a second. And this is what's incredible. So actually, I'll just skip a couple slides ahead. So we are showing this ad to a list of people. If you could see on the left-hand side, I cut it off accidentally. It's a sellers list that Leon had put together. And in here is 624 leads that we are now targeting on Facebook. So this is a list of sellers that we're going after in this particular list that has been created. And what's so powerful about this is that that list is now, we're only showing that ad to these people on Facebook. So these would otherwise be the leads. So we've reached 146 of them. And you can see here that we, I just skipped one slide ahead, that 3 people have already interacted with that ad to download that PDF. So now here's the question. Out of all the leads that you have, or all your sellers, which sellers should you reach out to today? It'd be these 3. I mean, I'd be all over these 3, right? They've downloaded a guide that is literally like the 6 tips and things you should know prior to selling your home. So these people are downloading the guide, coming back into the system. Our system is identifying those 3 leads as people that are resubmitting. We know that they're coming through that particular ad, and they pre-existed in your system before as a lead, but they've come through again. So they become obviously the people you want to reach out to. I'll do another example. So here, and what's cool about that is, Leon had spent roughly about $10. So for every $3 in this example right now, we're getting somebody to re-raise their hand to download a PDF. You are spending again, but think about how much time that is saving you. You are adding value to that lead. So think about like a postcard or a mail out or whatever else you may do. You're literally giving them something of value. Plus, you are identifying which people are actually consuming that content that are most interested. So hopefully you're starting to see how powerful this is. So here's another one. This one spent about just under $18, set at about $1.30 per day. Same thing, ignore the fact that there's no leads here, because there are actually, it's just that they're not new leads, they're your past leads. So we're making some adjustments to this going forward. But again, 6 questions to ask before you sell your home using the same guide here. In this particular case, we're actually targeting, you can see here about 1,874 leads. This is a seller's list here that's being used. And so all these seller leads are now synced up with Facebook. And as new leads are coming in, they're going to be synced up with Facebook. Check this out. We have, if I go up, 5 people have raised their hand from these leads as well. So, you know, these are the 5 people that are consuming the content. They are, you know, downloading the guide. They are getting that value from you, but also you yourself are now able to, you know, reach out to them again. You can see who's downloading the content. You know, you could add that to your notes. You could see what else that they're checking out or viewing from your CRM. It becomes, again, an incredible, you know, hand raise. Again, if you think about postcards or anything else, how much more powerful is this? You know exactly what people are doing. So check this out as well. You know, if you think about it, so about $18. So what is that for 5? So roughly about, you know, $3.50 or so are being spent, again, to raise their hand, to get that value to that particular customer. And again, we have so many PDFs coming out. Our beta users are just testing our very first one. We have others that we're running right in behind this. And of course, I know many of you are asking if video is coming. Video is coming as well. But I just wanted to get you excited about some of these features, how powerful they are. And if you have any questions or you're curious more about the retargeting, you can always reach out to me. Marcus can drop my email in here as well. Again, we are closed right now to the beta. I have more than enough people that we're testing with, but be excited. These features are getting ready and getting worked on as we speak.
Okay, so I know you guys have a ton of questions. You probably couldn't see it. That doesn't matter, but Troy is actually going to clarify what actually is happening and what this experience is and how powerful it's going to be. Go ahead, Troy.
Cool. Well, first I'm going to apologize for the noise in the background. The garden's being worked on. But what you're basically seeing here is we are taking your leads that you've already generated. We're turning them into an audience that you will then create an ad, and that ad will be delivered to just those people. So those leads that you've generated, those people are now going to be seeing this ad. Each of the ads is going to offer some sort of guide, right? A guide for sellers or a guide for buyers. We're working on a number of these PDFs. These PDFs, when they're actually created, very easily for all of you you'll be able to brand it for yourself. So we're actually going to make it so that they'll automatically update with your information. So they'll be branded more towards you. So when you go to launch that ad, you don't have to worry about it. So that's going to be really, really cool. What's powerful is that these leads that you've already captured are now seeing these new ads that you're offering value with, a guide for them, some form of information that's valuable to them. They're seeing you now constantly in their newsfeed. All right. So whether or not they click on the ad is not super important, right? But they're constantly seeing you. So you're getting exposure all the time. Basically, instead of calling it retargeting, call it remarketing, right? It's them driving down the road and seeing your billboard constantly on the side of the road all the time. Now, some people, like what you were seeing in that video there, some people are going to click because they're going to want to get that guide. They're going to resubmit their information. You at that point can actually create an automation that you can put them on that would be specific to the guide or whatever else you would like in there. But these are people that have re-engaged now with you. They're going to come through and they're going to get to the very top of your contacts list as they're not a new lead, they're an old lead that is re-engaged. If they're re-engaging with one of your ads, they're absolutely a hotter lead now for you to market to talk to. Those are the people that you're definitely going to want to pick up the phone and immediately contact, right? So now imagine we have, you know, I was laughing a little bit. I'm like 30 PDFs. I don't know we'll have that many, but imagine we have 10 or so in there that you can actually have going out on a consistent basis, right? Offering value. People are now seeing these. They're starting to engage with them. And then in the future beyond that is actually having video in that, where you can now even provide further value, or you could do your monthly market report video that you can now you can now have go out as an ad to the list of leads that you've already generated. And that list gets updated on a daily basis, right? So every time you get a new lead, automatically that audience gets updated with that new lead and are now placed into that retargeting ad for you. So it's incredibly powerful because it's just another avenue instead of email, instead of text messages that they're being put on a campaign. Imagine now that this is like an ad campaign that's showing up in their newsfeed on Facebook where you first captured them in the first place. So incredibly powerful. But yeah, if you have any more questions around that, feel free to ask. And it's all, we're trying to build it out as quickly as we possibly can, but we held back on releasing retargeting as it was because we wanted to make it really powerful with these guys. We wanted you guys to have something out of the gate that it's basically click and go. And you should see definitely some really great results with it.
Yeah, and I will mention those retargeting campaigns will have the ability to create automation specifically that you want to go out for them. You can use any lead source outside of StreetText to import into StreetText, which is going to be massive for you. And those are going to be specific lists that you can create. You can have as many lists as you want, right? But specific lists, so you can retarget those specifically from outside of StreetText. And then the question was, how far back can you go? You can go as to the very beginning of any lead ever generated. So it's going to be powerful. Campbell, I see you have your question up.
Okay, you just answered my question about being able to bring in other list of names. So what I want to do, I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart to all of you folks at StreetText for being on the cutting edge, because this is exactly what we need. Because my goal right now is to do more geo-targeting into specific neighborhoods that I have bought lists for that we're trying to get listings from. Because Marcus, I will tell you, my seller leads went back up again. I had to shut my ad off over the weekend. It creeped back up to $40 a lead, which I just can't pay for that. So I've got to find a better way to be able to get to them. It may be the fact that the market is so competitive. I don't know. But that price of acquisition had gotten real high. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I would go to the ad performance review. I would see if you can meet with Logan. Logan's really good at trying to figure out how
I'll
to get,
do that again.
Yeah,
We did that last time, and it cut it down for a while, but then it creeped
Well, then,
back up again.
Right, and so just monitor that, and as you see it, the message is going to be changing too, right? The message that we'll use to get sellers to click, I think, will be changing as the market shifts, as things inevitably are shifting. And
Absolutely.
we might use better language to get that seller who is skeptical or kind of wondering, if it's a good time to actually put their home on the market. So
Now, the two most important follow-ups on this. Number one, when will it be rolled out to everybody?
that'll be a Steven answer. So I'll let Steven kind of take the lead. You have his email there, steven@streettext.com. He'll kind of give you the release date on when he thinks it's ready. He wants it to be perfect. He doesn't want to go out there and have any glitches. He wants to make sure that when it is released, it's going to work for everybody.
I agree wholeheartedly. Is this included in our package? This is just a different thing that we're paying for the ads. We're paying by the ad.
That's not my answer. I would again say Troy, John, maybe they have answers for that. Throw you on the spot.
Hello,
Sorry,
Troy.
what was that question there, Campbell?
Jonathan, with the fee that we're paying you guys right now for our advertisements, does that include the new retargeting? I know we pay separate for the ads themselves, but is that already included in our package?
Great question. We're sort of figuring out how we're going to roll this out, but we'll figure something out for you, Campbell, for sure, and everyone else here.
Well, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Cool. How many of you are excited? If you're excited, put a little comment or me or a thumbs up, whatever it is. I want to know your feedback on this. Tell us, let us know, because I think Steve is going to love to hear your feedback. And so let us know if you're excited for this. And also, if there's any feedback or any more information that you'd like to know about it, send that email to Steven@StreetText.com. He'd appreciate the feedback. Again, I'm going to write it in there, Steven@StreetText.com, and let him know. You know, I know he's got the beta use right now, but that's another way to get on that list. If you really want to be on that list, is to just email and saying, make sure I'm part of that first initial rollout. Cool. All right. Well, we can shift unless there's any other questions, particularly on retargeting, and take it back into shares.
I'll throw something in there real quick on the retargeting parts and some part of the beta. A couple of things came out of that, and I was sharing with Steven, and he's looking into, because there's a few things that it does that I think is going to be really good once we wrap our fingers around it. And this was something that came up from the 12 seller tips as well. And this is why the branding part is so important, because, with Jeff Moss and the rip off and duplicate, branding is really important to what retargets to go out, because you got too many people that are other, brokers that'll, kindly sign up, download your stuff and use it. So you're not here to create your own competition. So what it throws back though is the reminder that anything else you're sending out, make sure you brand yourself so that you're kind of getting the traffic to you, not it going somewhere else. And then one of the things that I'm finding right now, and it just happened right now while I updated something in mine, is what's interesting is what I'm finding in the retargeting is so it goes out to in your database. People that are coming in, I don't know if they're coming with different emails or something different, because I'll push them over to HomeBot and it tells me they're already there. So we're looking into that. But the upside to that is I don't care if it doesn't push them to HomeBot, they're already in it. But the cool part is I'm getting different updated information. So I always say how people use their junk email or phone number when they come in sometimes, because they don't want you to have it. So I'm looking at the fact that I'm probably getting better information. I'm getting what I call the real information to get at these guys. So that's something when I follow up, I'll update that with Steven, because he looked at it late last night. I'm gonna go dig into this later today and just see what they were in my system as before and what they are now. But it's looking like the retargeting is giving better contact info.
And I love it, because where I see on this, and that you maybe don't even see yet, is they submit information, they're getting this cool PDF or whatever it is. That's your opportunity to re-engage them on that automation and to also value stack, because they're going to want to know at that moment too, especially if they're sellers, what is happening in this market? Where is their home now on terms of how much is it worth at this moment, right? Like, you're going to want to give them the opportunity, because some of those submissions, those leads that you got years ago, as they're coming back in, are going to be interested in that service, or maybe how to use the HomeBot report that they're on, or whatever that is. So this is your opportunity to re-engage them and to value stack within those automations.
Well, the cool thing is they know in order to get the information they request, they have to have a good contact point. So instead of the garbage, email that they send everything else to, they're putting in something that's actually going to deliver where they want it to go.
It's a lead ad. It's a lead ad now, because so maybe some of those partials now submit all their information. They come in as a full lead, and now you have Julie engaging them with whatever message you want them to be engaged with.
Yeah. So the other thing is, take the time while everybody's waiting on this. Go back. Someone said this the other day in the group. Go back and look what messages you have going out, where rates changing and stuff like that. If these guys are going to re-engage, once again, you do want to make sure that the information that you're getting is current, because if you still have them running in a drip, or the fact that you can now turn around and set yourself up to resend out to them again, you want to make sure you've got good information that's going out now. So if you haven't done it, take a minute to update your information in the system, look at your ads going out, tweak what you need to do to be the one, and it'll be worth it.
Awesome. I just texted Steve. I said, people are pumped. Get ready for your email to be blown up. Jeff, you have a question? Unmute yourself there, buddy. Jeff, you got to unmute yourself.
Did I understand Stephen correctly to say that the ad spend was about $2 for these retargeting ads?
Yeah, you did.
It's actually, they recommend lower. The minimum is $1.25. I don't have time to figure that math. I just go $2 a day. We'll see what happens, kind of thing. $60. That just means, Leon, I only drink one mocha a day anyway, so it's in the budget.
Yeah, so like retargeting is so powerful because, as you know, what you've done is you've taken the most targeted audience that there is, which is your list, and then you're putting your ad in front of them and only them. And what makes that so incredible, I'm working on looking at my camera, so actually, because I always look to the face. But what makes it so incredible is that as you're getting in front of there, like what we were talking about earlier, you're not just building your know, your like, your trust, and then you're getting seen. People have already seen you before. So when they came through your ad the first time, they'll see you again. They now see you a third time, fourth time. They're way more likely to put in more information, which is what Leon, you were alluding to there, is that the trust is higher at this point. They've got your emails. They've probably got a CMA from you at some point, or they've got a home property list. So they actually feel much more comfortable going through the whole process. This is actually the get off the fence strategy, which we do through postcards, but you're doing it through ads. So it's such a great and powerful way to really figure out who are your motivated people in your list today. And what's nice is as we go through the reason we're trying to create a whole library of about 40 of these different ads is we actually want to hit them with a rotated cycle so we can figure out the people that are who are interested in certain things based on their time frame, not based on our time frame. So someone might be interested in getting their home ready for sale, but someone else might be interested in something completely different because they're trying to buy a home. And so we want to make sure we're hitting them with the content that's relevant for them. And that targeted list, because you're getting in front of, let's say you have 1,000 people in your audience, you're getting in front of that 1,000 people. You don't need to spend $10 a day, $15 a day, $100 a day trying to get into them. You only have to spend like $1.25 a day, and you're in front of that exact audience. And Facebook actually has a huge library of placements that it gets you access to. So you're not just in front of the newsfeed, which you are, but you're in front of their Messenger, you're in front of their Instagram, you're in front of their WhatsApp, you're in front of their display audience. So you're you're ubiquitous, you're omnipresent, you're everywhere they go, they get to now see you. And so it really is the most powerful branding strategy today. And when we tie in with video, which will be coming down the near future, that is going to be a whole nother level where you now can basically take the videos you already have and then put those in place. So it's very to say we're excited is an understatement. The results that we're seeing is there's not a single person running an ad right now with retargeting who isn't getting leads. That's crazy. That's really, really good. And for the cost that we're paying. And then the other thought on that is when you think about, well, I can time about more into the ROI side in a bit, but essentially what you're doing is you're filtering your list so that you can see and prioritize your time on the people that you really want to focus on getting after first, because how much more effective are you going to be with your time as a result? It's exciting.
There's one other thing I would throw in there that this is the really funny one. I've always talked about tagging stuff. I run sellers only. And, as far as ads go, if you're running sellers and buyers, that's cool. I've got a huge database, even your stuff where Jonathan or I think Troy said about address only this and that. You can create audiences in the retargeting, and they've got one called page engagement audience that is a super beast. I'm waiting until we get the rest of this done before I run it, because what that does is it hits every single person that has ever came into your Facebook page that made a comment, a like, this, that, anything. So basically, even if they didn't give you all the seller information ad, you're going to hit them as well. So what I'm doing is I'm just running the seller one now so that I can tweak it out and get a few more in there. And then I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna hit the special audience and just go after them. So it's cool because, in the group, everybody's always saying, well, address only, what do you do? This, that, whatever. This is a chance to get the engagement out of the people that came in that just even stopped to your page. It hits everybody. It's like Superman and Kryptonite. So that's the one I'm really looking forward to, because anyone that's ever came through there is going to get something from you. So at how cheap the lead cost would be, it's going to be really good.
Jonathan, follow up on what you were talking about. The video, the quicker you get that, that's going to be very helpful because Facebook prioritizes video watch time because it keeps people on the site longer. So the more video content we have on those ads, the more Facebook is going to love what we're doing.
Well, what's really cool with video too is you can actually do whole retargeting strategies just on video. So if you have somebody who watches 25% of your video, you know they're really interested and engaged, you can now retarget them as a subset audience. To what Leon just shared, yes, that is super cool. It's probably like we've been getting crazy feedback from that. People are mind blown. So I wasn't even going to share it. It's just like a surprise. It's like a little Easter egg. But yeah, with one click of a button, you're going to be able to hit like all your audience in a really big way. So anybody that's liked your ad, anybody that's commented on an ad, anybody that's literally just clicked an ad but never actually submitted, they're all going to be in your retargeting audience.
I mean, can you imagine? I like to even think about some of those ads that I shared in the My Best Ad contest, that has 400 comments on it, or, Wendy's ad for the Raiders, just targeting these guys with the new updated schedule, right? Like, unbelievable with what you can do. So yeah, guys, get excited because you can't even really fathom what this is going to be able to do for you. You'll get creative as time goes by and imagining what you can do. And then video is going to be the follow-up piece to this, but starting here with these PDFs is a good, healthy, baby first step for sure.
For those,
I always
go ahead, Troy.
I always go back to that quote that nobody knows what's the quote by Maya Angelou. Nobody, how does it go? I had it on the tip of my tongue. Nobody cares what you know until they know that you care. Like, we think that branding is what gets people on our doorstep, but branding is not. Value is. So branding is what happens after the value proposition. So all of your ads to this point have been creating that value relationship with people. And we sometimes get stuck doing billboards as ads, and we think that we just need to brand everything and that's what's going to attract people. Your brand is what you do after you've established a relationship. This is where retargeting comes in now. Now I start to recognize your brand. I start to recognize you. So, keep your foot on the pedal when it comes to how you respond to this lead, when it comes to value, and make yourself memorable with those videos and with the brand, because now that brand is just going to keep showing up. It's just going to keep showing up in their feed. And this is how you build your brand. A billboard means nothing until you establish some sort of value relationship where it's them focused, the person focused, and now they're going to start noticing you everywhere. And they're like, hey, that person gave me lots of value the first time I clicked through, and here's another place where I can get value for them. And the more that you establish value, the more you're drilling that influence part of their brain, and they're making their decision, and they're like, I'm recognizing this brand. I'm recognizing this Linnea person, this Jeff person, this Leon person who's constantly following me everywhere I go. So I'm excited to see all of you that have put in a lot of work just to remind where you've already put the work in.
One of the things about this, to put it in easier terms, when Facebook basically took most of the demographics away, those of us that used to be able to run ads where we could really get down to what it was, we lost the ability to go in there and really target an audience. So this, what I like about it most, kind of gets you back in front of all the people that you really couldn't get at before. So the traffic increased just based on being able the system to go out and go across everybody's page that had came into your site. When you say the ROI that Jonathan's probably going to cover, this is where that gets exciting, because now you have a chance to capture or recapture traffic that you wouldn't have got otherwise.
John, did you want to cover some ROI?
Well, the ROI is insane if you do the math. But what I was going to share on the ROI side, and I still will, but then I'll kind of work back, is that whatever your ROI is, so let's say it's a 15x ROI, which is like we see that's pretty common. And So 15x means that for every $1 you're spending on Facebook, you're making $15 in return. That's a really good ROI for anybody's book, right? But then what the ROI does is it actually, you can work backwards from that. So you can say, well, how much money do I want to make a day? Well, that's probably how much money I need to now spend on Facebook. So if I want to make $15 a day, I'll spend $1 a day. If I want to make $150 a day, I'll spend $10 a day. If I want to make $300 a day, I'll spend $30 a day. That kind, or $20 a day. So that kind of, you see the how that math works for you. So whatever your goal is, whatever the your target income is that you want to generate, well, now you know how much money you can spend on Facebook ads. What retargeting ads does is it takes that number and it kind of like it adds like a power of 2 or 3 behind it, which is crazy. So essentially what it means is that you can be spending $2 on a campaign a day and hitting your most targeted audience with the most relevant content, putting those people to the top of the list, making you that much more effective, taking your ROI from instead of 15x to 30x or even greater. And now all of a sudden, the amount of money you need to spend on Facebook to get the same results is it's crazy, right? It's so cheap. Like where else in the world is it possible to get in front of this kind of quality of traffic for this price and get these results? It's insane. So it's truly staggering. But I wanted to share more of the math side just for you, so that you know, as you're trying to figure out, okay, well, what are my goals? Where do I want to be? What is my ROI? I'll know that after a year of using Facebook. Well, that's great. Now you have a baseline of how much you want to invest. When you tie retargeting into that, you actually will get a multiplication factor on it, and you can start to see what that impact will be. Obviously, the deal won't happen unless you pick up the phone. We've talked about that last mastermind. That was a big thing. But this is a way for you to identify who you should be picking up the phone with first. And that's really important for you to really maximize your time and your effectiveness.
Love it. I thought I'd just share this real quick. It's timely, just so you know, you're on the right platform. If you're looking at and this will, should apply in Canada the same if there's any Canadians here, but percentage of US population 12 plus on major social media platforms, who's winning? Clearly Facebook and Instagram. That's where you are, right? So don't get too impressed by the shiny bells and whistles. Okay, everybody wants to be on that next thing, but you're on the right place. This is where you are. You need to be where everybody is. Okay, and that's where your audience is, and that's where you're going to be.
You also have to understand who's spending the money.
Yeah, and it's really crazy when you think about it. So like I talked about this a little bit before, but so you have what's his name, Russell Brunson, the founder of Virgin. His whole strategy, his whole realization he figured out from a young age was that if you can count the traffic, in his case, he literally counted foot traffic, and put your storefront where the most people are, your business is going to be more successful. And if you think about where are the most people today, well, clearly it's Facebook and Instagram. There's no question. And Reels is exploding right now. If you aren't doing Reels, you need to be doing Reels. Reels is exploding, and it's really easy to get ads in front of Reels. I'm seeing really crazy cost per CPM right now. In fact, cheaper CPM than TikTok from Reels. This is true. Not only is the CPM cheaper, but the quality of audience you get from Facebook is way better than TikTok. Like you can't compare the two. So you want to be in front of the place that has the most traffic. That's number one, because you're going to get more outcome. But then you think about it, it's not just Facebook and Instagram. It's Facebook, Instagram, Messenger, WhatsApp. They have a whole suite. I think it's like when you look at it, in the top 10 most popular apps of today, 5 of the top 10 are Facebook apps. If you put the numbers together, they have over 3 billion active monthly users. Like it's so staggering when you think about the dominance of Facebook. So I'm like, they just keep investing in their algorithm. Even I saw the last week a big change they've made, and I'm seeing a lot of improvements to the performance, and I'm really excited about that, because that just means we're getting, again, our ads in the right audience at the right time. So it's as Marcus was saying, are you in the right place? Yes, definitely. And we know that people are coming back to Facebook. Why? Because obviously it's a place they're connecting with their friends. They also have Marketplace. Marketplace is super sticky. They have groups. Groups are super, just a great place to, if you don't have a neighborhood group, you should create one. And then you also have Reels. Reels is taking off in a huge way right now. And so it's just really interesting. And it's just, I'm curious to see. It's one of the most fascinating things to watch how Facebook was constantly adapting, because I don't know any company in the world that adapts faster than Facebook to the changing times. So it's very interesting.
Deborah, you have a question? Looks like your hand is up, unless you just forgot.
Yeah, my question is, you were talking about branding, and I've used Fiverr lately, like 3 or 4 times, and it's been kind of a mess. The work wasn't very good. I was just curious if somebody has an artist or somebody on Fiverr that they use that could do branding.
I do, Deborah. Just put in the chat, put in your email. I'll send you my contact. He's excellent.
Great. And I know this is a different subject, but I sent out a home value, and the woman came back and said, well, I think you're about $100,000 off. And so I responded to her and said, well, let me do it again. I've done about 600 of these, and every once in a while I get it wrong. Well, I have an appointment with her next week. So anybody who's doing, where your numbers, your home value or home bot is coming in wrong, it's a great time to re-engage them. And as it turns out, she wasn't really ready to sell today anyway. So, it's nice to just pick up somebody that can trust me. So anyway, that's how I handled it. It definitely on the same page now.
Awesome.
Deborah, you always agree with them. When they say it's wrong, you just go laugh out loud and tell them, hey, that's what the public thinks your house is worth. Deborah, on the branding side of things, I'll tell you what I find. Less is better. I put my logo, I put my website, I put my contact info, I let it go. I don't want to have them lose sight of what I'm sending out as far as the message about to deliver. So I don't need a 6-foot glamour shot of Leon standing there looking stupid. What I do is I just send out, like I said, the fact that, like I said, Jeff and his rip off and duplicate just always resonates through my brain. I want them to get the message. And the target is the audience, not the realtor or broker that's going to steal what you're putting out there. So all I did on mine for the branding, I put my company logo, put the contact information for me, I put the website address so I can drive them to that, because the idea behind anything is ask yourself, where do you want them to go? Where do you want them to be? If you're not talking to me directly, I want to get you to my website. If you hit my website and sign up, I'm going to get you. If you sit there and email me questions, I'm going to get you. If you call or text me, I'm going to get you. So before you sit there, when we say balling on a budget, I would just keep the branding so simple, because I want them to see what I'm sending them, because that's what I'm trying to gain my reaction from to get the engagement.
I get that. My problem, and it's my problem, is I spent 3 years in interior design school. So my brain just thinks differently. So that's my hang up. If I see things that aren't lined up properly or whatever, it's a no-go.
And there's more than one right way. And I never knock that, because who knows, the best things have been discovered by accident. But one of the things that I've learned, don't let the realtor thought get there. Ask a couple people that don't sell real estate. I ask, hey, when you go looking, what do you look for? Go away from yourself, ask them, keep it simple always. And in keeping it simple always, you'll find the costs are where you want to be.
Yeah, Chris, you got a question?
Yeah, and I'm just kind of getting cranked up with all of this. My question is, so far I've just been running these ads on Facebook, but the Instagram, obviously seeing the engagement on that chart that you just showed a little bit ago. Are y'all seeing like is it increase? I know it's increasing your reach to do it on both, but is there a like a synergistic effect to running it on both? Does it matter? Is it, it's kind of up to you and where your audience is?
Who wants to answer that one? I mean, I find that this retargeting would be best served for you as the leads, as you get more. Like the more you have, the better it's gonna reestablish them, bring them back to life, see who's hot right now, who's engaged right now, at a very small output from you financially, right? It's just gonna be
Right. Well, and I think I'm asking my questions wrong. It just means I'm just asking in terms of the initial ads that I'm running out. I'm just going to Facebook right now. Does it matter if I add in Instagram, or y'all seeing kind of a synergistic effect of both of those being run together, or is it kind of pick where your audience is?
I can give you an answer on that one.
Yeah.
Now, for me, there's no harm in testing. No matter what you're thinking and feeling and want to try it. You don't need to run an ad for months and months and months to know if it was giving you what you want. So test anything, and if you don't know, test it. The other thing that I would say from what I've noticed personally is the average daily user on Instagram is considerably younger. So if you're running first-time homebuyers programs, things that are catering to, buyers, that's when I would say Instagram is a fantastic platform for that. If you're trying to acquire more sellers, even when you're running buyers ads, when you're putting in like an upgrade amenity, such as, pool homes in whatever area, you're really talking to sellers, because you're saying, if you just say single family homes in whatever area, now you're talking to buyers, because even as a owner of a single family home, what are you offering that I don't already have? Nothing. Well, as soon as you add that upgrade amenity, now as a seller, I'm thinking that's what I want. I'm interested in what you have to offer. So that to me is really important. And then just again, looking at the two platforms as what they are, not only average daily users is much younger on the Instagram side of things, I also find it to be a considerably more artistic platform. So if you run, and I'm not saying run map ads, because come to the ads class, we'll talk about that. But
right.
If you were to run a map ad, let's just say on Facebook, I feel like you could still get away with it to a point because it fits the landscape to a degree. Whereas on Instagram, it's not. You're going to have, the pretty ladies up against the wall with the wings and stuff. You're competing against other artistic media. So you do have to make sure that your imagery then lines up and belongs there. So for me, I don't just default check both. I really am purposeful with my placements based on the ad I'm running. So if I'm looking for sellers, I stay exclusively to Facebook. Yeah, Jonathan?
Yeah, I would add as well to that, Chris, if you're running a lead ad, like 12 tips ad, keep that to Facebook. If you're running an ad that is a conversion oriented ad, giving more placement options to Facebook, like whether it's Facebook and Instagram, that's a good thing. Because what they can do is they can figure out what the cheapest cost per conversion will be, like what channel for that ad is getting you the best results. And it might be that Instagram has got because there's different placements on Instagram. There's the reels, there's your stories, the feed. So they'll figure out which placements are getting the best quality conversions for you. And the more availability you give Facebook, the better that result's going to be. So that is definitely a really good thing to think about. Synergistically, yes, they work great together. There are some people who only log into Instagram, and there are some people who only log into Facebook. And so if you can get in front of both those groups, great. And there's some people who log into both. And the more they see your brand, the more they see your, because you follow your ads, like your business page is going to be there wherever your presence, or your Instagram page in the case when you're running on Instagram ads.
Right.
That will just further place you as the agent of choice in your market.
Okay. No, perfect. Thank you. I appreciate it, guys.
Hi, I have a question. Hello.
Yeah, go ahead there, Manish.
So when I am running the ads for buyers, and how do I add how do I narrow down the audience? Because when I'm putting on, I put like a split test, right? So 3 of the ads, one of the ad is better than the 2, and then one ad is running. So how do we make even more better? Like how do we run the audience? Like narrow down the audience.
Well, Logan, I'll let you take that one over.
Can do. Yeah, so you really don't get to narrow down the audience. And I'll put it this way. It used to be before the special housing ad category, we got to select our audience. I want more males or females. I want this. I want all these things. Well, even though Facebook understands we, the advertisers, we're the ones who are putting the money forward, if there's nobody left on the platform to click the ads, it doesn't matter how much money we're willing to spend on the platform. So Facebook has kind of taken the emphasis, if you want to call it that, away from what we want and put it onto the audience. So now the way it works, and one of the other reasons why you're doing the 3-ad split test, is not only to determine which ad is statistically the strongest, but also which one is bringing you in more of that audience demographic that you are specifically looking for. So the way that we're really recommending, or I'm finding things work best now, run your split test. Run it for up to say 72 hours. Pick the one that's statistically strongest, then let it run for about 3 weeks. At the end of 3 weeks, then you look through that audience and then you determine, hey, I'm getting cost-effective leads. I'm happy on that front. What's the demographic this particular ad is locked onto? And if it's found the wrong audience, if it's finding, a bunch of 18-year-olds, a bunch of realtors, people outside the area that you're wanting, well, then we need to think of making a change to it. Now, the last thing I would recommend, typically if it's still working well statistically, is to ditch the ad. But there are ways, and what I would recommend is come to the ads class if you get to that situation, and we can show you how to manipulate your budget in order to make the algorithm retest so that you can keep a similar level of performance, hopefully, but you're finding a new audience. But again, there's really almost no way, short of starting your retargeting and doing other things like that, there's no way of taking an existing audience and shaping it much more than it already has. However, again, if you run those 3 ads, the likelihood of all 3 getting a completely different audience is quite likely. So the other thing that I would mention to you is also be considerate with your imagery. Dependent on who it is you are trying to appeal to, build an ad that appeals to that type of individual, if that makes any sense. So you do need to be, image is everything. I'll put it that way. Nobody, in the history of Facebook is scanning through looking at ad copy. That's just not the way that people use Facebook. They're going through looking for images, and when you hit an image that speaks to that individual, they're going to stop and pay attention to it, read your offer, and then they might click. So again, consider image first, consider the kind of demographic you're trying to acquire, and then work backwards. Build an image that you go, I'm looking for, 36-year-old males who make $180,000 a year. What kind of imagery is going to, work for that individual if that's the specific nature that you want to get to? But again, I leave it more open. As long as people are clicking and eventually talking to me, I could care less who they are really, because I have an opportunity to, hopefully work with them from that point forward. So again, I'm not sure if that answers your question, but Facebook can be. Yeah, go ahead.
So can we add retargeting to these ads?
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of what we're talking about, right? Is the ability to take any of these people who've come through any of your ads, package them together, and then start following those individuals around with, more or less specific ads based on what your angle is.
So how do we do that? I mean, it's a separate ad.
Yes, it would be a separate ad and typically run at a much lower cost. So if you're running ads at say $9 a day, then you're going to be doing ads now at, let's just say, I think Leon said it as well, $2 a day seems to be what, I think depending on your currency, if you're in Canada, you have to go, I think it is $2 a day. If you're in the States, I believe it's $1.25, $1.50, something like that is the minimum. But that's essentially it. I'd say aim for around $2 a day on retargeting.
So do we have the ability to run retargeting ads from the StreetText platform?
That one I'll leave back to Jonathan. I missed the first 15 minutes of this conversation.
We talked about this for the first half an hour. You may have got in late. That's coming.
Yeah.
So just look at the stay tuned. As it will be released, you will find out, and then that option will come in. Okay. Awesome. William, we got a question?
Please be Mortal Kombat related.
Yeah, I love that picture. Reminds me of my youth. Sub-Zero. William, you there?
Sorry, guys. My mute wouldn't come off. I'm a little bit in Facebook jail right now, so I got to get back to login to get this set up.
Yeah, no problem. Was that all
Did
you
you
had?
Did you have a question
Yeah.
or anything, William?
No, not this time. Just in, I can't do any of this because I'm in Facebook jail.
Okay.
Gotcha. Yeah.
You can't really get around this.
And that can be a lot of fun. Message if you, I'm sure you already have, message our support. Our support is always going to do its best to be able to help you. Of course, we can't do a whole lot with Facebook, but when it comes to things like that, accounts restricted, just, keep doing the request to review and, eventually they'll fix the problem. They always do, but sometimes it can be a little bit of fun until then.
Thanks, because you can't really implement any of this until you're actually out of there. So.
Correct.
But is there enough opportunity to get things set up? So once my probation is up, I can hit the ground running.
100%. Yeah, I'll send you a message and we can discuss the best things to do there. We'll figure out which ads you want to run. We can even, you won't be able to launch ads. However, we can figure out a way to get some automations set up in your account that you can start going through and editing them. But I think in all honesty, you're in the right place. This is the best thing to do is while you can't be advertising, you can still be learning. Facebook can't restrict you from coming to these meetings and, picking up some new information. And when your account's ready, you're going to be more informed and ready to go when that time comes. So, keep making the meetings, do everything that you can on your side, which you are. And, we'll once Facebook figures things out, we'll be ready for you.
Okay.
Other thing, William, in the meantime, tweak your database, go in and tag everything so that when you come out of Facebook jail and you're able to do it, everything's ready to launch. All you gotta do is hit a button at that point instead of finding you've got all these other things that you could have done before you got to that point.
Should I upload, but once I talk to login, would I be able to upload them into StreetText?
Yeah, you will, William, and it's a great time to update all your automations too while you've got downtime. Tweak your automations, bring them current.
Yeah, and I think most importantly, we just want to know what your favorite Mortal Kombat character is.
No, we don't.
Okay, I guess
Scorpion,
not.
for sure. It's got to be Scorpion.
Mine's Johnny Cage, just so you know.
You guys are losing credibility by the minute, right?
Well, I mean, if you weren't born in the 80s, I guess it wouldn't matter.
Come on, Marcus. What about Sonya Blade? You're leaving her out. We're not feeling any love for Sonya here.
Oh, got it. Burned. All right, guys. This is the last part of the mastermind, so this is for you. Do you have any last minute questions or just anything that you want to address before we let you go?
I'll just reiterate the part what I said. Knowing what's coming to make it easier on everybody. If you have not tagged your stuff, I mean, mine was fairly easy because I run all sellers. But for those of you that have buyers and stuff like that, you want to go in and tag this stuff because when you create the audiences, one of the things you'll find when Steven shares the videos is when he shows you how to create an audience, the tagging is so important. And the fact that you can do something at the click of a button. And I mean, I've got 1,000+ in mind. So it ain't like I'm gonna sit down and do it all in 15 minutes, but to whittle a little bit at a time to whittle down as you do this. When it comes time to do it, to be able to go in and select a tag for buyer and you create the whole buyer list, create a tag seller, you got the seller list, and then deploy. That stuff went out so quick. And where time is money, where time is saved is if you had to sit down and go back and look through your database to figure out, was this a buyer, was this a seller, what was there, you're wasting a lot of time. You burn a lot of midnight oil you wouldn't have had to. So as you know, this is coming and it should be fairly quick, I believe, at the rate they're going. I honestly just strongly suggest go in, work your database, get the tags set. So when it comes time for you guys to launch this stuff, it's just a couple quick clicks and done.
Go Raiders. Schedules are out.
Yes. Now it's time to run the ad.
Not yet. I'm still waiting for VGK to come out because I do the double.
Oh yeah, you did the double calendar.
Yeah.
Hey you guys, quick question.
Yes.
I do exist. I just wanted to, I'm trying to edit a lot of my campaigns, and instead of sitting through however to do it, where do I go in to re-edit things? Because the market has changed so much.
Yeah, so
It's
any
been a while.
one of these seller ads that you have, you can either go to the ads level of StreetText and go to the inactive ads that you have, or even the active, whatever which one, and just click edit automations. Edit funnel, I should say, edit funnel. And then, there's also the settings. Under the settings, there's the edit emails or edit automations that you can go through as well.
Awesome. And Marcus, I sent you an article that was discussed the other day that really was pretty cool about showing where we are as far as, as far as our market.
Yeah.
I don't know how I get it to. I think I messaged it to you. It's really kind of full of great stats and facts and historical things. So it might help you compile the verbiage for some of the things that you guys are coming up with on your end of the deal too. So
great, that'd be perfect. I'll relook at it, and if you also send it to Marcus@StreetText.com or support@StreetText.com, that'd be great. And if it's something you think that is valuable to the community, upload it into the file section of our Facebook group.
I just got to find the actual link for the article. So once I do that, I just had kind of sent you what I cut and paste and sent to one of my sellers that was having a cow fit about the market.
I'll take a look at that. Appreciate it. Thank you, Missy.
Thank you. Thank you for everything you guys are doing.
As well, Missy, just so you're aware, every Thursday, Ira runs an automations workshop. So if you check in the dashboard under the helpful resources section where you click book a class, it's called Leveraging Automations. And it would be a good opportunity to go in there and just see, get a little bit of, I don't think you need a whole lot of hand holding, but it's kind of nice to have somebody there as well to kind of answer some questions. And if you're like, hey, what's going on with this? It's somebody to actually share their screen and walk you through a few particulars. I think that would be beneficial as well. So for anybody,
need a total refresher. That's what I need. It's been a while since I played in the backside. We sent you a PDF initially about new construction that I would love to have. A new construction PDF, maybe be a part of what you guys are doing would be amazing too. But we initially sent one, I guess it's been almost 2 years ago. So it's probably changed a little bit. We'll look at it again and edit it up and see if there's something we can do to help you with that too.
Well, actually, and on that, if you'd like, I run the custom ad class every Wednesday. So today at noon Pacific Standard Time, might be a little bit of a quick turnaround if you have to look at your PDF, but possibly for next week, next Wednesday, if you have a look at your PDF and know exactly, if you have an idea anyways as to what you'd like to run, come to the custom ad class and I'll kind of help, sharpen the tool, so to speak, sharpen the verbiage, whatever it is, come up with a proper call to action, and then we'll help you build it in an ad right away for your account. And then the beauty and benefit of that is the more people who come to those classes and we start building and learning new things together, we figure out a new ad that works, and all of a sudden we can then turn around and template it, which is not only better for you, because then you can just template it yourself or choose from a template, but it's also good for the community. So absolutely, if you guys want to come to either today's custom ads class or next week, I'd love to see you on there.
We'll give it a shot. Awesome. Dawnine, my other half of my brain, or myself probably will be there then. It's Wednesday at what coast? East Coast?
East Coast time, it would be what? That's that 3?
Okay.
4? Oh my God, I don't know.
What time is it in your world?
Noon Pacific Standard Time.
Okay, got it.
That'd be 3.
I gotta run here, but before I do, I just want to say how much I appreciate you all, and just like, this is so much fun. This really is. I love what we've been talking about today, and even just like what Leon, you were saying there at the end, and Missy as well. Just go through your automations. Being prepared is the easiest way to win the battle. Like, that's it. John Maxwell, he says, people often think that pressure forms character. He's like, no, it's formed before pressure. Pressure reveals character. And it's the same in business. It's like, if we use the time, our downtime, or whatever you want to call it, to prepare ourselves, then when things get real busy, that's going to reveal how organized and how many systems you are, how excellent our business is really set up to be. And so with that, I'm going to head out here, but say thank you so much for being on here. Really appreciate you. You guys rock. You're the best. And I really hope like every client in the world, they meet you so that you can really serve them, because I know that you really are there for them. So yeah, love you guys. Appreciate you.
I have one quick question, and that is, so I'm assuming maybe in automations, but if we're creating video content in YouTube, because you can do a lot more than doing it on BombBomb, or I can't do as much on my phone on BombBomb, so I have to do it in front of my computer, which I'm sitting. So, but I'm not knowing how to keep that in or input that into StreetText to where it doesn't break the link. And so I know Wendy was gracious enough and she shared I think last time on our last class, she had us just register to kind of see what she sends out. But some of the links that she was sending out were actually broken and we couldn't actually watch her videos, which I let her know about. But I was just wondering whether did you find that kind of information out in automation when there are those type of breaks, or is that somewhere else that you have to go if you do want to keep YouTube as a connect into StreetText?
Yeah, I know. I did notice that it was happening with all of the YouTube ones. So like when you click on the YouTube link and you put your YouTube link in my funnel, it looked correct. But then as everybody was testing out my funnel, which is always a good reason to set yourself up on your link, you click on your link, you fill out your information. That way you can see what everybody's seeing. So that's a good way to test it out, is to make yourself a homeowner, and then you can see if everything's working properly. I just now recently added those videos into there, and it was easier because it was already on YouTube than to download everything to BombBomb and upload it through BombBomb. But I'm going to have to do that just to make sure that people can see it. So.
Can you do a bit.ly link instead? Would that be easier since you shorten it using that?
No, because when you put your video in, it only allows you to use BombBomb or YouTube, and it's not the link. It's the actual video showing up in the email. Nothing shows up. So it has my verbiage in the front or at the top, and it has my verbiage underneath, but it doesn't have the video in it. So, and it's only happening with the YouTube one. So I'm not sure. I didn't reach out to tech support. I just decided to switch everything to BombBomb. So
yeah, that's what I would suggest. Go with what works. The Chrome extension of BombBomb is my favorite way to embed into the StreetText automations. And so, you can film those videos, by the way, on your phone, but then they'll be downloaded into BombBomb. And then when you're back at the computer, you just go to the Chrome extension and then embed it inside.
Yeah, but if you're doing content where you're doing a green screen with some different information, depending on what you're pushing out, that's, because then I take that and then I have to have it edited and then it's placed back into YouTube. So it's like a forever grab, which is why I wanted to make sure it was in YouTube. Sure. So the only workaround then is to just take that after it's created in YouTube, upload it into BombBomb, and then funnel BombBomb into StreetText.
Yeah, that's what I would do based on that.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Perfect. Awesome. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah, it was just an extra step that I didn't want to do, but I'm going to do it. So I know I got like 15 emails about it. So thank you guys for the
Thank you, Wendy. You're awesome.
Chris, you got a question?
Hey, real quick, what's the best office hours to go to talk about targeting out of area buyers? Would it be that custom one this afternoon, or?
You can join me on the custom ads class. Would be happy to talk about that. I've got some actually a number of things I could share to help you kind of not only acquire the leads from other places, but also to try to keep your ad costs down. Just real quick for anybody who might be interested in that. If you are running an ad that is targeting people outside of your current location, it's recommended, at least what I would recommend, is to also make sure that that ad is relevant to the local community so you can drop multiple pins. Otherwise, what happens if you drop a pin here in Florida and you drop a pin in only New York, expecting, good things to happen? Well, if 1 in 1,000, 1 in 10,000, 1 in 100,000 people like that ad because it's not super relevant, your lead cost is going to be ridiculous because people aren't going to like it as much to the consistency. So if you have, homes in whatever part of Florida, whatever, but then you also drop your pin locally, it's kind of like engine coolant. It keeps the engine cool because enough people are liking and sharing and commenting locally that when you get that 1 in 1,000, 1 in 10,000 from the area that you're trying to acquire, your costs are more appropriate. So try to make your ads relevant to everywhere, and I can help you with that for sure.
Okay, perfect. Thanks, guys.
Awesome. Well, remember, as always, as we finish this mastermind, one thing. Just take one thing and implement it. Don't try to do all things. You can always come back. This is uploaded to YouTube, so you can always come back and watch it. I did post the graphic that you guys wanted into the group. I did post Steven's retargeting video in case you missed it or want to actually, you're like, I couldn't see it really well. Well, it's now in the group as a video uploaded. everything that I post that I think would be relevant, that I want to stay there for a while, head over to the featured tabs. It's the announcement section basically of StreetText, and all that stuff is in there. So check that out. And as always, if you have any questions, reach out to us, send us a DM.
Can I have a last question, if you don't mind?
Yeah.
Yeah. So once I have tested these 3 ads, one of the ad is working. Can I add 2 more ads to test the pictures?
Yeah, that would be called an A/B test. So all the time, anytime you run brand new ads, you're basically, in my thought process is that you change the picture, you should split test that picture as well.
So once the ad is running, can I continue that ad with and add another similar ad to test the picture?
Well, yeah, you would go right back to the StreetText funnels and create a brand new ad. You wouldn't go and edit that particular ad that you're running because it's working.
I cannot test that same ad that is already giving me the result.
No, you wouldn't want to do that. Because the results.
If you think of it this way, if an ad's working well, you don't want to touch it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Leave it completely alone. If an ad isn't working, you want to get rid of it. And if you had 3 ads in a split test, 1 did really well, 2 didn't do so well. Now you want to go and maybe edit the image on these 2 that didn't do so well. Unfortunately, now you're playing an uphill game because you've already you've already got metrics built in that were, not what you were looking for. So now you have a new ad start that's on top of a faulty foundation, so to speak, would be the last thing you'd want to do. The other thing that you could consider, Mahesh, if you want to, is I look at doing an A/B split test now. So when we want to do a split test, you want 1 ad running, you build 3, let them compete for about 72 hours, pick your 1 winner. Or if you want to test 2 different images at the same time, I'm doing 2 and 2. So I'll do 2 ads that are 1 image, let them run at the same time. I then go back to my funnel section, build a new 2 ad split test using my other image, and then I'm doing, an A/B test while still splitting them. If that makes any sense, that's something that I would recommend trying.
Okay.
Dan, you want to come to the ad performance review workshop to reinforce this, because the A/B testing, the split testing, that's why we have it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. This is going to be learned. You got to learn how to learn sometimes. And that's part of the process, is just repetition. Awesome. Thanks, everybody. Have an awesome day. Thank you for attending the Mastermind, and we will be in touch.